Alright folks, so it's no secret by now that LEGO, both as a toy and as a collectible, is just absurdly expensive. Over the past decade or so, it's been skyrocketing in terms of price. We have sets coming out now that are just hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I thought it'd be fun to go through and look at the top 20 most expensive LEGO sets and just rank them in terms of quality and in terms of which ones I like the best. So again, this list of worst to best is completely subjective, completely my opinion, but I still thought it'd be fun to look at the top 20 most expensive LEGO sets of all time and just see how they rank in my head. Now, just for some perspective, the cheapest set on the list of the top 20 most expensive ones is at $450, meaning there are 20 sets in existence that are more expensive than $450. I just think that's really interesting. It just goes to show how expensive this toy really is. Anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and look at number 20 on my list of ranking the most expensive LEGO sets of all time. At number 20 on the list is one that probably a lot of people expected to be the worst of the expensive, and that is set 76210, the LEGO Avengers Age of Ultron Hulkbuster set. This set got so many things wrong. It got more things wrong than it did get things right. First off, the price is not justified whatsoever. This thing has, I believe, around 4,049 pieces at $550. So if you're just looking at price to part ratio, it's awful. It absolutely is horrible. Furthermore, the proportions of the thing look nothing like the actual Hulkbuster. Beyond that, this thing only includes one minifigure, which wouldn't be an issue if it were actually a good minifigure, but it's not the best looking minifigure ever. And just to top it all off, the set doesn't even include the actual Iron Man that you can put inside. You've got to buy that separately. So there are just so many things that this set got wrong. LEGO fans really hate this set. I hate this set. It could have been so much better, and it's just not. So that's number 20. At number 19, we have our first of the Technic sets. There are 3 or 4 on this list that are Technic. Naturally, LEGO Technic has always been super expensive, especially when they include power functions, and that's one of those right here. This is set 42100, called the LEGO Technic Liebherr or Liebherr R9800. And the reason this is number 19, I don't think it's a particularly bad set. I think the functionality on it is really, really interesting. I just don't think it looks really that good. And there had to be something that was, second worst. And that's just where this thing fell. Now, in terms of price, this thing originally retailed at $450 with 4,108 pieces. It has been retired for a long time now, but anyway, I just think that this would probably rank at, second worst of the most expensive for me. At number 18, we have set 76405, the Hogwarts Express Collector's Edition. This set retails for $500 in the US and has 5,129 pieces. So if we're looking at price, it's kind of on the mark as to what you'd expect, especially considering this set has a whole lot of minifigures. The main reason that I dislike this set, as well as many others dislike this set, and I don't even want to say dislike, I don't dislike this set, I just feel very moderate about it. But the set is a really awesome looking train that is not compatible with the traditional LEGO train system. What I mean by that is that normal train tracks are, I believe, 8 studs wide. This train is 10 studs wide, or it might be 12, so it is beyond the realm of being able to interact with actual LEGO train systems. Furthermore, the set takes up a lot of the parts counts with the actual track, rather than having maybe more train station or more actual train at the disposal of the builder. I really just feel like this one was a missed opportunity. For $500, I feel like what you're getting here just really isn't worth the price. At number 17 on the list, I'm going to go ahead and throw another one of the Technic sets on here. This is set 42131, the Cat D11 Bulldozer. This is another one where it just had power functions, which added to the price, added to the functionality. Again, I don't think this is a bad set, it's just really not for me. Of the sets on this list, I think that there are way better, way more interesting ones. This set did retail for $500 with 3,854 pieces, so those power functions definitely raised the price quite a bit. At number 16 on the list, we have set 10276, the Colosseum. This set retails for $550 in the US with 9,000 36 pieces. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree with me putting this as low on the list as I did. I do not think this is a bad set by any means. Furthermore, I think it is very well priced. For me personally, I don't really have a desire to have something like this on display. Furthermore, I have heard from others that the building experience for this is not the best ever. It is one of the most repetitive building experiences of all time. Again, I really don't think this is a bad set. I just don't really think it has much going for it. It looks like what it's supposed to look like. It's a display model, and that's about it. So that's why I have it at number 16 on this list. Alright, at number 15, we have another Technic set. This is set 42115, the Lamborghini CNF KP37. Quite the name there. This thing is not a bad set by any means, in my personal opinion. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. The price kind of sucks though. It's seated at $450 in the US with only 3,696 pieces. I don't believe either that it includes any sort of power functions or anything of that sort. It does have some really cool functionality about it, and again, it looks absolutely fantastic, but I just think the price is a little bit too high on this one, and that's why it's this low on the list. At number 14 on the list, we have set 10176, the Ultimate Collector's Millennium Falcon. Now, don't get confused. This is not the Millennium Falcon that is currently on the market. This is the first Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon, the one that was $500 with only 5,197 pieces. I think this is a really cool set. I just think it's a little bit dated. They redid this Millennium Falcon, obviously, because we have the new one on the market now, which will rank much higher on this list, and the new one looks just far better. This one, for the day, looked fantastic, and I still really love the set. It's just not as good as the newer one, so that's why I have it this low on the list. Still, though, a really awesome looking set, an iconic set, in fact, that is often overshadowed by its newer counterpart. Next on the list, we have set 10307, Eiffel Tower. This set retails for $630 with over 10,000 pieces, 10,001 pieces to be exact. The reason I have this one where it's at on the list, I think it's a fantastic set. It looks like what it's supposed to look like. It is super tall, nearly 5 feet tall, which is just absolutely crazy. Tallest Lego set of all time by far. It's just really not that interesting to me beyond the way it looks. I think that it accomplishes everything it needs to. The price, furthermore, is actually really good. It's just, it's a static build that looks awesome, that is really nothing beyond that to me. So I think it's exactly where it should be on the list, in my opinion. Next, we have our final Technic model. This is set 42146, the Lego Technic Liebherr LR13000. I'm going to mess up these names. I don't know, but it is a massive Lego crane. Now, this thing, in my opinion, isn't the most well-priced ever. It sits at $700, which is absolutely nuts for 2,883 pieces. However, it is absolutely massive and has some fantastic functionality. I have also just always been a fan of Lego construction stuff, and I think that this is one of the best Lego cranes that has ever been made, so naturally I'm going to be a huge fan of it. Next up, we have set 75367, the Venator Class Republic Attack Cruiser. This set retails for $650 with 5,374 pieces. Definitely a very pricey UCS set here for the Star Wars line. This one's very recent as well, and it looks fantastic. It really does. This thing looks the part. It is a fantastic display model. I think it's a great set. It's just kind of mid-tier in terms of all the sets on this list for me personally. I also think the price is a little steep for this one, but it does everything it's supposed to do, for real. I figure I'll throw in the other Star Destroyer, or rather Imperial ship next. This is set 75252, the Imperial Star Destroyer, retailing for $700. Containing 4,784 pieces. This one also was really overpriced for the time. Now it's overpriced because you'll have to buy it on a third-party market if you actually want the thing. The only reason I have this ranked higher than the previous one is simply because I like the original trilogy Star Wars stuff a lot more. I think this thing looks fantastic for what it is, and it does everything it should. It really does. It is very pricey, though. It is certainly a very pricey set. Next up, we have set 75313, the AT-AT, or AT-AT, whoever you are and however you say it. This set retails for $850 with 6,785 pieces. This is the second biggest Star Wars set of all time, I believe. If you're going via part count in terms of price, it is right up there next to the most expensive. So it's a big one. It really is. And this thing is very strictly just a display model, certainly not for play, but in terms of display, even in terms of functionality, there's a lot going on here. There's quite a bit of interior to this thing. It is also very massive. It is super big. The only reason I have it ranked a little bit lower than some of the other Star Wars sets and some of the other most expensive sets is simply because I like some of the other ones more. I think that this one does exactly what it should and it looks fantastic. It's just, in terms of all the sets on this list, it's really not for me. Next, we have set 10294, the Titanic. This set retails for $679, $680 rather, in the US with 9,090 pieces. I think that this is just an awesome set. I think it does everything it should. There's little details on the inside with the engine room of the actual ship, lots of details on the deck. It looks fantastic. It honestly does. This thing is like a true display model. I think it's a great set. Again, the only reason, similar to the AT-AT, that I have this thing ranked lower is because I have other sets that I just simply like more. But this is just a really great Lego set. I mean, it does everything it should. Then we have set 71043, the Hogwarts Castle. This set retails for $470 in the US with 6,020 pieces. I really like this set. I really do. I've always been a fan of micro scaled stuff, or nano figure scale stuff, I guess you could say. I have the Lego Avengers Helicarrier in my collection, and I've loved nano figures ever since that day that I got that set. And this one is, I mean, it's no exception. It is scaled, obviously, to the nano figures, but there is so much interior, so many little details on this thing that they were able to do because they went with that scale, and I just absolutely love it for that. It also includes 4 fantastic figures, the founding house members for each individual Harry Potter house, which is just a nice little touch. Next, we have set 75159, the Death Star. This set retails for $500 in the US with 4,016 pieces. This is an absolutely iconic set, and this is actually a remake of a previous set. They are virtually the same in design though, and I believe that they remade it because the first one sold so well. It's essentially just a dollhouse style Death Star with lots of different interior details from the Death Star, lots of minifigures in this one as well. It's 27 minifigures total, I believe. It's a very iconic set. The only reason I have it lower than some other ones on the list is simply because it doesn't look the absolute best on display. It's definitely more of a play set, but for what it is, it's such an iconic and such an enjoyable set. So really awesome one here. Next up, we have set 75192, the Millennium Falcon. Now, this is the big one. This is the one that a lot of people think of when they think most expensive Lego set, or, biggest Lego set in general. For a while, it was the biggest Lego set, but has since been beat out by multiple other sets. This thing, though, is super iconic. It's super awesome. It's everything it should be. I think the only reason I don't have it at number 1, honestly, is because I wish there was a little bit more interior to it. There were like 2 interior rooms, and I wish they could have found a way to incorporate more of that. But as a display model from the outside, I think it is absolute perfection. It really is. I do wish it would be, or it could be a little bit cheaper, but I understand why it's at the price that it's at, and I hope to one day have this in my collection, but I don't see it ever really happening. Next, we have set 75331, the Razor Crest. This set retails for $600 in the US with 6,187 pieces. Now, the reason I have this above the Millennium Falcon and above the AT-AT and above the Star Destroyer is because of its interior. The interior for this set is absolutely incredible. The fact that they were able to accomplish so much with a minifigure scale Razor Crest, and the fact that it looks as good as it does, is just so incredible to me. I do think the price on this is a little too steep. I would personally put this around maybe $500 or so, but I think it is like the perfect Star Wars UCS set. All right, we are now at the top three, and these top three I could really go back and forth on depending on the day, depending on which one I want most, depending on the hour, depending on the minute. I go back and forth on these three all the time. But of the ones on this list, these would be the three I'd probably choose to have in my collection the most, and these are the three that I definitely want the most. I'm going to go ahead for today. I decided number 3, I have set 10333, The Lord of the Rings Barad-dûr. This is the iconic Dark Tower with Sauron's eye on top of it from the Lord of the Rings series. The reason I have this set listed so high, first of all, the price to part ratio is good. Second of all, it looks really great. Third of all, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. And overall, I would just really love to have this thing in my collection. I think that it looks fantastic. This is actually the most recently released, or rather announced, set on this list, but I still think that it deserves this spot on the list because I think it does everything that it should. It's got great interior, it's got great exterior, everything here is just awesome. And again, numbers 1 and 2 on this list I could go back and forth on depending on the day of the week, but for right now, at number 2, I'm going to go ahead and put set 10316, The Lord of the Rings Rivendell. This set I have loved since it was announced. It is one of the most beautiful looking LEGO sets of all time. This thing just looks absolutely gorgeous with all of the foliage, all of the different architectural details, all of the colors. Everything about this is amazing and perfect. The only thing that could really make this set better is if they were to jack up the price a couple $100s so that they could add even more detail to it. I really love this set though, and this set kind of revamped the Lord of the Rings theme with LEGO, and I'm really hoping that they continue with these awesome Lord of the Rings sets. And that leaves number 1 on the list. A lot of you guys might have known this just from who I am as a person, but number 1 is set 76269, The Avengers Tower. I think this set is far from perfect, if I'm being totally honest, but I am a big Marvel fan. I'm a big fan of the Marvel modular buildings. I have the Daily Bugle in my collection, and I absolutely love it. So naturally, when they announced this and when I saw pictures, I was kind of blown away. I think that this thing is fantastic. Now, obviously, I wish that they had the proper base to the tower. I wish that the tower had more accurate interior details. I wish it had the ability to maybe swap out the Avengers A for the Stark Tower logo. There's lots of things I wish that could be different about this set, but I still absolutely love it for what it is. And for $500 at 5,201 pieces, it's not the worst deal ever, but you know what? I still love the set, and I'm still putting it at number 1 on my list. Let me know, though, in the comments below, maybe what your top 3 or 5 are, which one on this list you would want most in your collection as well. Let me know about that. If you liked this video, if you got this far, clearly there was something you liked here, so be sure to leave a like, be sure to subscribe as well. I will see you guys in the next video. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.